Hello, we're back and we're joined with the Executive Director of Cleveland Minority Organ Tissue Transplant Education Program, Miss Linda Kimball. Since this is our last podcast, we did just want to share with the people the wonderful things that we've been able to do. So Linda, if you could just provide a brief overview of the PAVE program from the Centers for Disease Control.
So the PAVE program has been in existence for over 4 years. We've been funded by the PAVE program, which is with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. It is a program that's been going on since 4 years, as I said before, to actually work with community-based organizations to actually get people out there to get vaccines. Mm-hmm. And that's basically it. We've had a wonderful experience working with our program officers. I think we've had 2 or 3 different program officers throughout the whole 4 years that we've been funded by the PAVE program. And basically to increase confidence in the vaccines throughout our community. And we were given the charge of doing this in different communities. We chose 2 different communities, which you actually talked about. And it's kind of bittersweet that is actually ending at the end of this month.
Yeah.
The reason why it's bittersweet, because we've done a lot in our communities in getting people vaccinated in different ways, not only actually hiring community educators, holding people's hands, educating people about the importance, but also podcasts such as this. Mm-hmm. Wilhelmina has done actual commercial spots.
Yeah.
We've had and hosted vaccine clinics. We had, as Dr. Ream said, we actually had a wonderful town hall where we had panelists talk to the audience about the importance of the vaccine, but also about giving out really good information about the reason why people should continue to get the vaccines. Mm-hmm. And everything, which we urge anybody who's listening to this podcast, who listens to this podcast, the reason why it's so important. And that's the PAVE program in a box, and it's not really a box, because we hope to have people to continue to get the vaccines, but also to continue to listen and educate themselves about the importance of these vaccines. And as Dr. Ream said, there's so many vaccines that's out there, mm-hmm. For the measles, for shingles, etc. We work with Wilhelmina and myself. We work with a colleague who just had shingles, mm-hmm. and we saw how the problems that she had with shingles and everything. She's over 50. I got the shingles vaccine as soon as my doctor said, run, don't walk and get that shingles and everything. And because I have underlying conditions, even though you're supposed to be over the age of 60 to get the pneumonia, I was told that it's your best bet to get that pneumonia vaccine. So I'm the type of person that, in order for me to stay as healthy as possible, I get my vaccines and everything. So that's the reason why we educate people through this, the vaccine program.
Amazing. I think you touched a little bit on the project activities. I think we mentioned hiring community educators, vaccine clinics, targeted influenza messaging. Is there anything, and this podcast, is there anything else that we've been able to do?
We've also utilized bus stop signs.
Yep.
Not only just regular, graphics and everything. Mm-hmm. We've actually worked with people that we see on a day-to-day basis, as far as our board members, people that we work with at the Centers for Dialysis Care, people that you might see on a regular basis and everything as our stars of our bus stop signs, that's giving out the messaging that, it's important for you to get your vaccines and everything. So, because we want to make sure that we utilize local people mm-hmm. for our messaging too.
Amazing.
Yes.
Linda, could you tell me one of your most memorable moments from the grant period out of the 4 years that we've been able to do this amazing work? What was one moment where you were like, wow, we really did this?
So I'm going to give you 2 because,
okay.
I'm a talker. I always tell people I'm an introvert. I don't talk too much, but I'm going to give you 2. And one just happened last month, and that was our town hall. Mm-hmm. So so 4 years of writing the grants for this and everything, and sitting down and trying to figure out what we're going to do, kind of a little different, kind of be a little bit more creative and everything, because we know we're going to actually have our community educators go out and go to outreach events and everything. We know we're going to try and host some vaccine clinics and everything. And that was our town hall. I sat down with Wilhelmina. We were like, what we're going to do different and everything. And she said, let's do a town hall. And I was like, oh my goodness, a town hall. How is this going to look like? So from, the beginning of, last year when we started talking about the town hall, we didn't know what it was going to look like. And, we worked with some students from CASE and everything. And lo and behold, it was wonderful. Yeah. And the reason why it was so wonderful is because we worked with a panel of people that was knowledgeable. They talked to our audience that was like close to 25 people. It was in an intimate space and everything, and we gave out really good information, and the people were actually open to the information that we were giving them. They talked about misconceptions. They talked about, their experience with vaccines and everything. And we came out of that town hall feeling that we made a difference. And I think that's why I felt that the 4 years that we've had this PAVE program and we've had the funding, that we've made a difference in our community. I've been working for a nonprofit, and I've been working in this position for almost 13 years, working for nonprofits for over 25 plus years, maybe 30. I don't know. I'm showing my age. But one of the reasons why I work for nonprofits, and one of the reasons I work at this job right now, is because I want to make a difference. And I feel that with this vaccine program, we've made a difference. We've actually helped make people make a really good decision about getting vaccines. So last month, we made a really good difference as far as with the town hall. And then also the vaccine clinics that we've actually hosted, where we've partnered with different organizations, but also partnered with Rite Aid, and actually hosting I think our last one was January of last year, where we hosted a vaccine clinic where we saw all these people coming in for all of these different vaccines and everything. So those are some of my really proud moments and everything. So, yes.
Yeah, I want to share two of mine. Actually, maybe like three, because I think just being able to have access to be like, to create change in our community has been wonderful. I'll say like my first like real assignment when I first got here was like we had local community people. So we had like Sydney, we had Pastor Cobb, we had Marcella, and just like kind of organizing them and like getting them to like take the pictures and like, less worry. I think, no, it wasn't less worry. It was it less worry, more? More. Yeah. So it was less worry, more ... So if you're able to get the vaccines, you have less worry and you're able to do the things that you love. Just even like them being so like willing to do the campaign was wonderful, because I know people, anti-vax sentiment is everywhere. You never know where people are with vaccines, and like seeing people recognize them, or people being like, oh, like I saw you on this. That was probably a very memorable moment for me. And the town hall exceeded like every expectation I could possibly have for an event, and like MOTEP being able to do it and put our name on it and like really do it well and have people come and it be a full house and like people really feeling comfortable was just, it honestly made my career. Truly. I know that's like insane to say, and I have just really like started, but it's just like people care. And people are going to come and show out for the things that they care. Yes, we did incentivize people with the $25 gift card, but many people still didn't show up. But we still had the people who cared enough to even sit in that space and listen. Nobody walked out. No one left early. Everyone stayed. And just even a huge thank you to Case Western for even having a program where we could have students kind of do the back end work, where it didn't feel like a laborious process. But like that was probably the highlight. Honestly, I think it was a beautiful close to our grant period. Is there anything else you want to share, Linda?
No, you said three.
Oh, three. Oh, and the vaccine clinics. I think vaccine clinics are great. I think being able to like provide people with the access to get vaccinations, because I know maybe our first one of last year, we had people from, Michigan. Yes, I know. Oh, I can't remember their names, but yes. So it was a group of men who came from a shelter. I would say, and they came to get their vaccines. And it's like people don't think about the not the lowliest, but the people who are. No one thinks about the people at the bottom of the totem pole, and like being able to provide that access and give them an incentive to even come and get that vaccine. And even I think some of them were even nervous and were wondering what vaccines were being given out, but being able to share that information is really important. I think education is kind of the cornerstone of health. People don't know what they don't know, and if you are able to provide them with that knowledge, they can then make better decisions for themselves. But anything else you wanted to share, Linda, before we close out?
I just think this has been a great journey. I wish that we could have continued on with this journey, because we were able to expand the information out to childhood immunizations and shingles, etc. But I'm just thankful for the 4 years that we had to actually implement this program and to plan this program, and just thankful that we touched the community.
Yeah.
Because like I said before, one of the reasons why I chose what I'm doing right now is because I wanted to improve the quality of life for my community, and I feel that we did a really good job in doing that. So yes.
Let me leave with the communication statement. This podcast is supported by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention of the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. It's part of a financial assistance award totaling $5,700,000, with 100% funded by CDC and HHS. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views nor an endorsement by CDC, HHS, or the U.S. government or the CDC Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you,